welcome to an episode of Chicken Chat. This is a special edition. We're going to be talking some recipes today, and I have a special co-host with me today making her Chicken Chat debut. Let's welcome Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Well, how's the weather where you are?
It's absolutely beautiful here. Finally, spring is here, and so spring means tons of eggs. So what do we do with all these eggs? You make deviled eggs. They're quick and easy to make. They're great for family get-togethers with all the holidays and the spring cookouts coming up. So we're going to talk about a couple different egg recipes today for your deviled eggs.
Awesome. Oh, I love deviled eggs. They are so easy to make, right? So a question I get a lot, and I'm sure you get too, is how do you boil or how do you hard boil farm fresh eggs? You kind of, the saying goes, you kind of let them sit a little bit before you can hard boil them, but you don't have to, right? Because there's some really cool tricks. So what's a trick that you use?
I've tried every different way to boil these under the sun to make them easier to peel, and what I've seemed to have landed on lately is I get my water to a rolling boil first, then I slowly put the eggs in with a slotted spoon, just slide them down the edge of the pot, and I boil them for 10 minutes at that rolling boil. Then I turn the heat off and I let them sit in the water for 5 to 10 more minutes before I then either put them in an ice bath or put them directly in the fridge to cool. And then they're pretty easy to peel. I still have some that get a little funky, but we eat those first before we put them on the serving tray.
Awesome. There you go. Well, my kind of trick is I'm on the pressure cooker bandwagon right now. I absolutely love mine. So I actually steam mine in my pressure cooker. So I steam them for about 7 minutes, and then I turn the pressure cooker off and let it kind of release its pressure for 5 minutes. And then after that, they go into a cold water bath for 5 minutes, and the eggs literally slide right out of the eggshells. It's amazing. The eggs that I used for our video here, they were laid in the last 2 days and they just came right out. So I love doing that. It's pretty cool. And it's quick too. You can do a lot of eggs. So awesome. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's start talking about some of these recipes here. I know you and I both have been going through some interesting deviled egg recipes. So if you want to go ahead, let's hear about the recipes that you have.
All right, so the easiest trick I have for you, this is the recipe that my family absolutely loves. So your typical recipe, usually going to have mayo, usually going to have some type of mustard, maybe you put some vinegar in there, but all I do for my recipe is mayo and ballpark mustard. So instead of like your regular yellow mustard, I use ballpark mustard. And that little hack alone has totally upped my deviled egg game, and family all loves it. There's never any eggs left. I did try a new recipe last night. I love balsamic vinegar, so I used a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar with Dijon mustard and just regular mayo, and it gave it a little extra kick. Now, my husband, he's not a fan of balsamic, so these are for me, which is good because then I get to eat them, but that was a different spin on it. So you can play with different types of vinegar. Homemade mayo really cranks up the flavor of these two and uses up some more of those spring eggs. So you can try that as well. But ballpark mustard is my secret ingredient.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And we're going to leave our recipes below in the comments or in the description below. So you can go ahead and make these eggs or these deviled egg recipes at home. The two recipes that I tried, I actually went totally different. I wanted to try something completely different. I actually did, and they both have bacon in them. My husband helped me pick out the recipes. But I did an avocado deviled egg first, and this one had a little bit of bacon in it, actually some salsa, which I thought was going to be, I wasn't sure about it, but it actually ended up being really tasty. A tablespoon of lime juice and a half of an avocado. And I mixed all those pieces together and I put them in my food processor. I know, Jen, you like to use your food processor because you're going to get that nice smooth consistency of your filling there. So I put all those ingredients in the food processor and I filled up my deviled eggs. And your deviled eggs are going to have a little bit of a greenish tint with the avocado, but it tastes absolutely amazing. They're really, really good. They're fresh, which is what I really like. And the other recipe that I had was a play on a BLT sandwich. So this one had mayonnaise, a little bit of honey mustard, and some diced up tomatoes mixed into it. Mix that all together. I also chopped up some basil leaves and some bacon again. I know, more bacon. And mix that all in there and put that inside my eggs. And that one's a little bit more on the sweet side. So it's really kind of something a little bit different. So I really enjoyed making those. I noticed that both of us like to use pastry bags for filling our deviled eggs. So do you use any tips with yours, or do you just use a zip bag? How do you do yours?
Usually just a Ziploc bag. I put it into just a glass, and so that it's easier to fill, and scoop my filling into there, cut a little corner off the bag, and then pipe it perfectly into the eggs. It works great.
Nice, nice. I've done that in a pinch. I also always have those pastry bags just kind of around in the kitchen from all my other cooking adventures. So sometimes I'll throw a pastry tip on the end there. If you're going to do that, make sure it's a pastry tip that's wide open, because sometimes the ingredients can get stuck. And the zip bag works awesome too. So that's great. So we also got creative with our deviled eggs since it's springtime. So you want to talk a little bit about what you did with yours?
Yeah, so you can use any deviled egg recipe with this, but I made a chick. And so you get your hard-boiled eggs ready to go, and then you want to cut off the top third or so of the egg, and the egg white is going to be your shell, and then the filling is the chick popping out of the shell. So you cut off about the top third. I actually made mine jagged, so I just pierced the knife in at angles to make like a jagged edge around, so it looked like the egg cracked. And then you gently squeeze the egg to pop out the yolk from the bottom part of the egg. Make your filling as you normally do, and then fill up the rest of your egg. Then you'll put the top cap on top of the filling to make like the eggshell hat. And then you take just a tiny little square or circle, whatever you can cut out, of a piece of a black olive to make eyes. And I took a vegetable peeler and just made really thin little peels of a carrot and cut it out in like 2 little triangle pieces for a beak, and then little slivers to make their feet, and stuck those underneath. It was adorable.
That is awesome. I love it. I love it. Goes with that spring chick theme here. I love it. So with mine, I actually tried 2 different methods. My first method was to make a bunny to go with springtime. So I took my egg, I cut it long ways like you would a traditional deviled egg. And on one side I filled it up. And on the other side, I kind of used to make my decorations. So I took that and I cut 2 little kind of ears out of the egg, and I stuck that inside my deviled egg after I filled it. And then I gave it some chive whiskers. So I added that on there as well. So it's a little more subtle. But you still get that kind of that spring look. And then the other thing, I really wanted to try coloring eggs. You see that a lot. So I took 8 ounces of water, and I put a half a teaspoon of vinegar and 1 drop of food coloring into the cup. And then I put my egg halves without the yolks in there, and I let them sit for about 10 minutes, and I took them back out, and they were dyed already. It only takes like 5 to 10 minutes because those eggs are so porous. And then I kind of patted them dry and then filled them with their filling, and it kind of creates something different. If you don't want to use food coloring, you could use beet juice. That would work wonderfully. So that's how I did mine. I got a little creative with those.
Fun for an Easter get together.
Absolutely.
Colored eggs.
I noticed on yours, and mine too, our yolks are really, really yellow, really orange. How do you get your yolks to be so orange?
Well, just having really, really healthy chickens. There's a couple things that you can feed them that help make those extra orange yolks. You're going to find that with your backyard free-ranging flocks anyway, but you can feed them basil, nasturtium, which is a flower, an edible flower, and dark leafy greens really help make the yolks really, really orange. And then if you want to perk up the color of your filling too, you can add a little bit of turmeric to your egg filling, and that adds that really bright orange color that way also.
Awesome. Well, that's a great idea. Especially sometimes I let my hard-boiled eggs cook a little extra longer, so you get eggs. green on the outside.
Right.
That's a great tip. I like that. That having that good quality feed and happy hens. I think you're a lot like me, Jen. We spoil our chickens.
Yep.
So
Very spoiled.
we have very good eggs. I always say they leave us presents for all the the ways that we spoil them. So, all right. I think we're just about all done here. I want to thank you all for watching. Hopefully we've given you some great ideas for when you make deviled eggs next. Again, we left our recipes and our tips in the description below. If you have any questions about poultry, about anything, make sure to visit us at meyerhatchery.com. You can chat us, you can call us, and you can email us. We're here to help. Happy spring, everybody!